All right, so now it's time to upload our files to GitHub. And if you do, well, let's see, if I do a get status, it looks like I'm already under version control. So Angular already set up my whole project to be looked at or watched by Git. And so if you do a get space status, it lets you know that the status of the files, and that is that I've got some files that have been modified. I have something that got deleted. I should have some things that got added. So, but they haven't been staged and they haven't been committed. And so I can do that. I can do that here in Visual Studio pretty easily. You'll also see this little icon here with 12 to let us know this is your source control. So it's been keeping track of my changes, and that's why my files are colored. So you can see that these are untracked. Looks like these were tracked, but they were modified. So that's why these little symbols are showing up beside my files that I've been working on. And so what you can do is you can come into this little icon and you can do 2 and 1 at the same time. So if I click on this little check mark and it says commit, well, these are currently unstaged, right? And that's what this was telling me with my get status. Changes not staged for commit. And that's the first part of a commit, right? First you stage your files and then you commit them. So if I click on this commit, it's giving me this message that's saying, oh, you didn't stage them. Would you like to automatically stage all your changes and commit them directly? And I think right now I'm going to say yes. So here's my message. Added a new component maybe. And doesn't look like anything exciting happened, but assumingly everything did. I can come into my command line here, and just for practice I'm going to type in get status and see how things are looking. No changes added to commit, so it looks like everything is clean. Changes not staged for commit. Doesn't look like things went as smoothly as no changes added to commit, use, get, add. So it looks like it didn't do all of that at the same time like I thought it was going to. So I'm going to do, just for practice, get, add, asterisk. So I'm going to stage them all. Give me a get status just to see what had happened. And the reason this isn't happening is because I am not in the correct folder. That's what's going on here. So if I do a dir and I look to see that I have another first project folder, and that's why things aren't going the way I expected. So you got to be in the correct file or folder. Now those are all my files. There we go. So now I'm going to do a get status and see what happened. All right, so now I'm going to try get, add, asterisk to stage them all. And then I'm going to do a get status just to see how things went. And it looks like now I'm in better shape. Says changes to be committed, so it looks like my staging worked. And now I'm going to get commit, put my message, and my message is added a component. Okay, and now I'm going to do a get status, and everything should be in good shape. All right, so now everything is clean. I'm not sure what happened there. I'm kind of wasn't expecting some of those things, so hopefully things are working the way I anticipated. All right, so I can see that this is still first project. Not quite sure what's going on there, but for the purposes of this, we're just going to keep rolling. All right, so now I have this is my repo on GitHub, and I don't have these two linked up yet. I don't have my project files uploaded to my GitHub repository, nor do I even have a repository connected. So I'm going to choose new. I'm going to create a new repository. We'll call it first Angular, and it's going to be public. And I'm not going to initialize it because remember that repository was already initialized here. I don't need to add a gitignore file because that was added for me over here. So remember, our gitignore file is making sure that we don't upload some of our dependency files and some extra files that aren't necessarily files that will change, that they're simply ones when we can recreate if we pull it down. So then I'm going to click on create repository. And let's see, if I scroll down here, I should be able to. All right, so I want to utilize these two commands. I'm going to utilize this command in order to sync up to connect my local repository to this new repository that I created. And then I should be able to push my changes up to this GitHub repository. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to put it into my command line. Just to verify that it worked, I'm going to do git remote-v. And you should see, if that all went successfully, that it does in fact see the origin, which is our remote repository. So now I've made the connection between my local repository and my GitHub repository. Now I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to push my files up to the origin, which is a variable name, if you will, or whatever we're using for a name convention for our remote directory. Master is our local repository branch, and origin is the GitHub branch. And if I hit enter, I get a failure because likely I don't have my permissions set on this file. So ideally you have your permissions set. I have actually several GitHub accounts, and I think at the moment it's pointing at my other GitHub account. So this was for testing purposes, and obviously that didn't test out very well. But if yours should have returned the everything got uploaded file, and then you should be able to come into your first Angular or whatever your file was and see all of those changes. Where right now I'm not, because I need to change my username and password. But that's how you would update your information from your local repository up into your GitHub account. So with the exception of my error, hopefully yours worked correctly. If not, please don't be shy to email me or ask me questions.